Hey guys, I'm so happy you're here. I'm guessing you clicked on this video because you've got a big to-do list and you're needing some motivation, or you just want some company to hang out with. So today's video is extra long, packed with several of my recent cleaning videos. And this one specifically has tons of variety of all kinds of homemaking motivation. So you'll get some satisfying cleaning motivation, a grocery haul and food prep, along with some recipes, and then a full-on pantry declutter, organize and restock, and even some thrifting to kind of finish some things off fun. So take a minute, write up your to-do list, and pop this video up on your TV, tablet, or phone and join me in getting things done. I also wanted to give back to y'all today to say thank you so much for being here and being a part of this online family. So as a way of saying thank you, I am giving away a $50 gift card to the store of your choice, and I will have all the information on the giveaway in the pinned comment down below. So be sure to get entered, and if you win, I will reply back to your comment to let you know. So good luck.
Make me feel enough. Just cause I get a little lonely don't mean I need someone. I'm perfectly content here on my own, leaving all the rose petals and the metals where they belong. Just cause I don't got nobody with me don't mean I'm empty. I'm doing both and fine.
Hey, so today we are decluttering my pantry right back there. We have decluttered all around our house, but today we are focusing on the pantry. We're also going to be organizing it a little bit, but the focus is going to be on decluttering. Now, I feel like with pantries, you don't often think that that's an area that you really need to declutter. However, it is, and here's why. Because as your diets change, as your lifestyle changes, as life happens, your needs change, your kids grow, whatever the case may be, there is going to be things in your pantry that you just no longer cook with, you don't snack on, like you just aren't grabbing those items anymore. So that is what we're gonna be focusing on today.
I don't need lilies and roses to feel like I'm a man. I don't need no one but Jesus to tell me who I am. I'm perfectly content here on my own. So I'ma leave the rose petals and the metals where they belong. Just cause I don't got nobody with me don't mean I'm empty. I'm doing both and fine. Don't need a feeling to give me meaning. I get that from the vine. I'ma be alright, I'ma be alright. Giving my heart some time. I'm not in a rush, I'm not in a rush, I'm not in a rush to fall in love. I'm not in a rush to fall in love.
All right, so about 2.5 years ago or so, when we moved into this house, our pantry was one of our very first projects in here. It's like a good sized space, but it's also very awkward because as you can see, we have the stairs going up above the left side of the pantry. And so that area is just kind of cut short and it's at an angle. And then they only brought the shelves up to maybe 4 feet high or something. And so Kyle actually installed a few more shelves. He made them to match, so you really can't tell the difference, but he just made the pantry a lot more functional that way. And then there was just a lot of empty wall space. And that's where we put these can organizers. I have one on this wall and then one that you actually can't see in the shop, but it's just kind of over on the left wall. And by doing that, we have made this pantry so much more functional and so much more usable for us. However, I feel like the pantry is an area where you just don't always go in there to declutter. Like I always am decluttering our fridge. We're pulling out anything that went bad. We're pulling out things when we go to reorganize it or when we go even just to the grocery store each week. Like you just kind of have your hands in there a lot. But I feel like the pantry is a bit of a different situation, or at least it is in our house. So for us, it's like we just kind of keep shoving stuff in there. And then if you see something empty, you can take it out. Or if you see something random, you might take it out, but it's not something that you fully go through very often. And also because the pantry is full of a lot of shelf-stable foods, I feel like we often just keep things in there expecting that they haven't gone bad or that maybe one day we'll get back to using them or something, but a lot of times that just isn't the case. So that is kind of my main focus in here today, is I'm just going to be pulling out everything, getting my hands on every single item, deciding if I either use it or if I don't. And then also if it's expired and if it's open. So then I can kind of decide how I can get rid of the items, if I'm able to donate them, or kind of where to go from there. So typically when I will declutter, I am usually the person that's like, pull everything out and go through it all. Kind of create the chaos to motivate you to adjust it and change it. However, I'm doing it a little bit differently in here. Some of the areas I am definitely going to pull everything out and go through them. The cans, for example, it would be so silly for me to pull every single can out just to go through them and then put them back. Whereas I could go through shelf by shelf really easily and decide that, you know, on a one-by-one basis. So when you're decluttering, definitely be sure to do it however it makes best sense for you. Don't do it how you see someone else do it. You know, take bits and pieces from that, but don't feel like there's one way to get things done, because there's definitely a bunch of different options and they're all pretty much correct.
Stones we carry, clothes we lived in, all the tales we will tell our children. No, we're taking the high road. Lay beside me, wake the morning, ever after, day reborn in. No,
So I feel like macaroni and cheese, that's a pretty easy swap. You know, I was able to take out some of the less desirable brands with the less desirable ingredients and swap those out for some that I picked up from Thrift Market. However, in this bin, I have a lot of like ramen noodles. Now, some are, I think, a little bit better quality. They're more of a Japanese ramen. But if you have any good ideas or tips on like a ramen noodle swap, I would love to hear them. That's definitely something that my kids love to just grab sometimes if we're really busy, you know, if I don't have time to make something. But I don't feel good about the traditional top ramen. But like I said earlier, it is all just progress. So I am trading out some mac and cheese for some better options, but I'm keeping some of the ramen just because I don't have a replacement yet. And that's okay. I know for me, I struggle with that. Like when I change something over, I want everything to be perfect, but that's just not realistic. So don't be hard on yourself as you take some time to kind of adjust your food and maybe find some better, healthier swaps. It's not all gonna happen in one day. And honestly, I'm telling you guys this because I need to hear this advice for myself, because that's just real life. But another thing that I'm doing as I'm cleaning everything out is just taking a moment to wipe down the surfaces. Cereal is another one of those things. I feel like it's kind of hard to get healthier cereal options, and I really actually haven't found a good option for that. I know they do have some healthier options, but they just almost don't feel like that much better than the traditional ones. And I also feel like we go in spurts. Sometimes my kids will have cereal every day and other times they won't have it for a week. It just kind of depends. But when they're having a lot of cereal, I feel like that would be so expensive to get the really healthy options for that. But I've almost been just debating trying to make my own cereal. So let me know if you guys have ever tried doing that or if that's just a silly idea. I don't know. I'm just always trying to do the best, but also keep things realistic.
Send to you. Love is overdue, but you know that I could never give up on you.
Now the shelf up here is filled with a lot of condiments. I used to keep literally all of these in my fridge because that's just what I thought I needed to do. But over the years, you guys have told me you don't need to keep certain condiments in the fridge. So I've been able to keep some vinegars and some sauces and things out on the pantry. And so that is everything that's kind of in that middle turntable. And then on the sides, I have these clear containers that I've just had for a long time. I will almost never throw away clear containers because I feel like you can always use them somewhere else, even if you don't use them right away. But I'm just kind of going through and reorganizing things, putting things more where it makes sense in the pantry and less just where I've kept them, because often we just get in a routine like, oh, you have a sauce, you have a condiment, stick it on that shelf, but it doesn't actually make sense there anymore. And so I'm just kind of readjusting all of that. And the middle is like more the sauces that are opened and things that we use regularly. And then on the side, I might have some overflow of things like that garlic and, you know, different jarred things. And then on the other side, I have some meat sauces and some pasta sauces.
I won't close my door, no matter what you say, it's bringing you down. Your clothes are still on my floor, they speak to me now. I hope you have my heart with you somehow.
Here on the counter, I'm getting kind of to the unpleasant part of things that I'm decluttering. I always have guilt whenever I declutter my pantry because I feel like, oh, I should have used that. Oh, I shouldn't have bought that, whatever the case is. But in the end, it's just real life. If your diet changes, if your needs change, like this happens to everyone. So try not to be hard on yourself, and I'm trying not to be hard on myself either. It just is what it is. And in the end, when you do this, it's actually going to help you a lot, and it's going to help avoid spending extra money. It's going to help avoid more food waste because you'll be more inspired when you open that pantry door and see all the things you want and all the things you use and none of the rest.
Lessons to learn, but you are worth the wait. I won't close my door, whatever I might have done, don't wanna run. My love is just so much more. Hey, I hope you have my heart with you somehow.
So we're making a lot of progress. I still have like the bulk section up top. We have a little like kind of like food storage up there, but we try to rotate through it. On the second shelf up is like our overflow. I get big containers of oats a lot of times and then kind of fill up my daily container with that. So I have oats up there, stuff like that. Months ago, before I had somewhat organized my pantry again, I kind of did the same thing as today, but less intense. And before that, literally that whole shelf that we were working on was covered. And so were other shelves with like random bits because it wasn't organized, it wasn't decluttered. And so you go to the store because you need barbecue sauce, but it turns out you had two, they were just hidden in the back, that kind of thing. So this is what that is. I have like a whole bin down here of extra condiment sauces, things like that, because my pantry was really disorganized a while ago. So now I'm just gonna go through it and get rid of things that either we are not going to use or maybe they're expired, whatever it is. And then the rest I will keep down here for now, but eventually I don't want to have this much. Like up there is already my overflow from my fridge or whatever, so I don't need more than one extra thing typically. So we're gonna go through this real quick, and then hopefully I'll go through, like I'll use up all this stuff by the next time I do a pantry video, hopefully.
Put your hand in my hand, darling, say go. Keep your eyes on the horizon, stay gold. All I need are your eyes, you're my arrow. Now we're running into the wild. I see the light. I feel alive. Put your head on my shoulder, you're safe now. When the rain comes, we'll head for the high ground. If the stars watching over us fade out, we'll keep running into the wild. We're running into the wild.
So I am incredibly thankful for what we have, but my friend Lynn from her channel, Lynn White, you guys have to go follow her. If you're not, she's amazing. But one thing that she had said at one point was she had a countertop fridge, which at first you feel is worse than, you know, a traditional fridge that extends out past the counter. But she said she actually likes it because you have a lot less food waste. And I've kind of thought about that for the pantry too. These shelves are so nice. They're pretty deep. You can store a lot of stuff on them, but I feel like you can find a pro and con with just about anything. So the pro is it's amazing. You can store a lot of stuff in there. The con is that things can get tucked back behind each other, and the more space you have, the more space you'll fill. So I've kind of struggled with having the deeper shelves sometimes because I feel like we're able to fit so much more in there. And so with that, that means that we sometimes can waste more because it feels like our pantry is empty when it's not stuffed full, if that makes sense. It's definitely just a mental shift I'm gonna have to make, but just something that I've kind of noticed over time after she had said that.
You can hold on to my heart and I'll never let you go. We can head for the sun, it will always guide you home. Put your hand in my hand, darling, say go.
So I am planning to kind of change this area up as far as the bins go. I just want something a little bit more, I don't know, something that allows me to get a little bit more specific, because at the moment we have kind of like more some healthier snacks along with some instant breakfast things. And then on the other side, we have more like treats, like individual items. And honestly, the next few days after I sit here and like organize it and lay it out real nice, it gets to looking just like how it did when I first pulled it out. Like everything is jumbled and a lot of the items don't end up getting eaten, or the kids just kind of dig through everything. And so that's fine. Like that's realistic, that's real life. But by having smaller containers, I'll be able to kind of maintain it a little bit nicer. So here I'm just kind of going through everything and getting rid of anything that nobody ever eats.
I'll be strong, yeah, I'll be strong. Too many years in the shadows, biding my time.
This area over here really didn't need a whole lot, but this is where I keep like our bulk spices, things that I use every single time I cook pretty much. But anything that I'm not using anymore, I'm just pulling off to the side, or anything that I can consolidate, or anything that, you know, maybe is got put back in there and it was empty. I'll move all those things out and just kind of reorganize the space as I run through everything very quickly and do a minor declutter.
I'm making it through, oh, making it through. I'll be the last man standing. I'll be the only one who's holding on. I'll be.
So one of the final things I wanted to do is clean the floor. Obviously, it's a mess in here. I have all those onion skins and just regular dust and dirt in here. But I didn't really get a chance up until now to chat with you guys about me doing the keto diet. I have been told by so many of you to try it out, and I feel like because I had tried it once and just didn't have a lot of luck with it, and I didn't feel good doing the dirty keto, as they call it, I just kind of looked past those recommendations a little bit more. But now that I'm doing the clean keto, I am honestly feeling so much better on it. And I feel like it's very doable. Like I almost never feel stressed, like I can't figure out what to eat. And at this point, when I was filming this video, I had lost 7 pounds or so, which is pretty exciting for me because that scale just does not move unless I do something really, really intense like the AIP diet that I did last year. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you to so many of you that had suggested for me to try it out because as of now, I'm just feeling so good on it and just feeling so grateful. All right, I think we are pretty much done. I actually really want to change out these 2 baskets right here. I like them, but I feel like they're too general and too big, I guess, of organization for the space. And so I'd rather do like Mexican or tacos, that kind of thing, and one that's like pasta and one that's more just miscellaneous dinner. I'm wanting to go real quick tonight and see if I can find some good sized bins that would fit 4 across. So we'll see if I can grab that. If I can find it, then we'll come back and kind of reorganize that. And if I can't, then I'll still go back in because right now everything's kind of just tossed into those bins and I don't like how it feels. So I'm gonna go ahead, run and grab that. But for now, I'll show you all the things that we actually decluttered, and I have like 3 different sections. I have one section that's like items that are open that we're no longer using, a section that's expired but unopened food, and then I have a section of food that is not expired but we're just not going to use it, so I can go ahead and donate that. But anyway, voila, here is almost the finished pantry.
High
right, it is the next day, but it's actually like 7 o'clock at night. The boys are all busy upstairs, but I want to go ahead and get this done. It has been such a day. It actually started last night. I ran out and got some bins. I'm definitely going to end up returning the ones that I don't use, but I forgot to measure this side, so I was like, whatever, I'll get things and then I'll return whatever doesn't fit. But last night it was like the craziest thing. Noah came rushing in. He was like, something's wrong with my eye. My eye is never gonna be the same. It'll be broken forever. And it was so swollen, like all around. He hadn't eaten anything weird. He wasn't outside. Like it was just so odd. He was just, before that, throwing the football in the house with Kyle, and it was just the weirdest thing. And then he just broke out in hives all over. So he was really freaked out the whole night, just kind of got away from us. And then today was just kind of a continuation. Luke got home from school because he started coming down with something. So it's been a day, but we are kind of winding down. Dinner's all done. And now I'm just going to really quickly finish up the pantry so I can call it done and it'll feel so good. So anyway, I was hoping to find just a bunch of these sizes, but they only had 2. I just really believe that when you make something look good, it inspires you more, and especially when it comes to being in the kitchen. In the pantry, I just want it to inspire me so that I can cook better and cook more. So anyway, I got these 3 bins. This middle one is a little bit bigger than the other 2, but I really like the bins. They actually have a metal outline on them, so they stay really nice. And I'll be able to use these somewhere else, maybe even in the pantry on the bottom, I'm not sure. But anyway, I got those. And then for the snack section over here, because on the day that I put snacks in, that looks really nice. But like a couple days later, it's just all like ravaged through and it does not look nice. And it's hard to see like what we have, and so things will go bad, or I don't know, things just get tucked away. So I thought having smaller bins could actually help that. So again, they didn't have the biggest selection at the store. So I got 2 of this size and then 2 of this size. And I figured I'll just kind of see if I can play around with it and make that work. And if not, I've shared a lot of times that you can actually put a bin inside of another bin that can create more organization. So this one should actually fit, I believe, perfectly inside these long, low ones. And then I could even just use one, and it's like if I put one in there in the middle, then I have 1, 2, 3 separate sections. So I got a couple of these as well. So I'm just gonna kind of play around with things and see how it all works. And then whatever ones I don't use, I can go ahead and return. But anyway, let's go ahead and get this done.
Love dancing in the rain. You never mind a cloudy day. Make the world a better place. Yeah, you love dancing in the rain. You love talking on the phone. Things other people don't. Make sure no one feels alone. You love talking on the phone. Don't know how I found you. I guess that dreams come true when you least expect them to. Ain't life funny? How did I get so lucky?
So now here in these smaller baskets, I have different sections. These are all kind of dinner focused items, but I have a Mexican taco basket, which is the one that I just did. Then I'm making up like a gluten-free basket and keto and just kind of more my specific diets, because typically the family kind of eats whatever. Whereas since I have Hashimoto's, I tend to eat a little bit more specific on some things. And then the slightly larger basket that I have is full of like pasta and just a few random but more general dinner items. But this is going to help a lot, and already I've seen a big difference just in the last few days since we've done this, because those big baskets that we had previously previously, everything just got buried in them, and so I didn't really know what we had. It was a pain to kind of go in there and dig through everything, whereas these smaller baskets, I can really quickly pull it out and just in one glance see exactly what we need to get from the store, exactly what we have for dinner on hand, things like that. And then once I got those baskets kind of situated on the shelf, I was trying to figure out a way to store things like the chocolate chips and stuff, and I know that I do have room. I can absolutely put them on that shelf if I need, but I am a big believer that when you make your space feel aesthetic and inviting, especially when it comes to your food spaces, it will really motivate you to cook and just eat a lot healthier. And so since I did have room in another spot, I decided to put them up on the higher shelf. But keep that in mind when you're organizing your pantry and your fridge and things like that. It's not all about the aesthetics, but it actually motivates you, and it also makes things a lot more convenient and easier to decant items and put them into like bins and just set them up on your pantry and shelves really nicely. If you haven't done this yet, try it out. I guarantee it will make a difference.
I've been thinking lately about some things that you said to me late last night. But you know how it go when you living on the hope of your past life. And I feel like I can't take it no more. No, I can't keep up. It's just never enough. Life just keeps on giving me detours. It never lets up. Always switching it up. These days, life's been a freeway. Time just keeps flying and I can't keep up. And they say I need to face things. I say I'm trying, but it's not enough. These days, life's been a freeway. Time just keeps flying and I can't keep up. And they say I need to face things. I say I'm trying, but it's not enough. My life's a rotary circle all around the bell. Every time I try to exit, I find myself right back where I started out.
All right, we got all of that all situated, and I really like how it is looking. I feel like this is gonna be so much more functional. Sometimes it seems like, Felix, what are you doing? It's just like going around in circles on me. So sweet. Sometimes it seems like when you're at a store looking at bins, like you want the biggest bin because you feel like that's gonna be the best deal, or, you know, just fit the things the best. However, I have found that often you need more, or at least I need more specific storage. I have realized that I tend to gravitate now towards like some of the smaller bins that I can store more specific items in, and that way it gets less jumbled. So I'm really liking how this is looking. Now I'm not actually gonna do this part tonight. Maybe I'll make a short or a reel or something, or maybe I'll just add it into another video when I have a little bit more time, because I think I want to like do more Cricut labels. But I got these. They're cool. They are like a plastic, but they seem pretty durable. And they also do come with a bunch of markers if you want to just write it on yourself. I've just tried them on a bunch of bins and it looks like they fit on everything. So anyway, I just wanted to show you these in case if you are wanting to reorganize your pantry and you don't have some little tags, because this was a really good deal. I want to say it was like around $10 for a bag of like 40 or something. You can put these all over your house, but how cool. And then they have just this little hook on the inside, and they're totally flexible. So if you have a really thick bin or a really skinny one, like, you should be good to go. But anyway, I will show you the before, no judgment, and then I'll show you the after and see how far we came. Alright, so there was our before. We just had stuff kind of all over the place. The core of everything was working, but you can see that I had so many items I needed to declutter and reorganize, and so that's exactly what I did. Decluttering everything was my top priority. Then we made some of those healthy swaps that I grabbed from Thrive Market, and then once we got all that done, I organized things by adding in just a few new bins, but for the most part, I just cleaned up the pantry and reorganized things using the containers and baskets that I already had. This just goes to show you do not have to spend a lot of money to make a really big difference. Now, if you want to see a really insane pantry, I'm going to link my mom's pantry right here. You have to go check it out. We did so much in there and it was like a whole new space. As always, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in the next one, which should be the next installment in my master bedroom makeover. It's going to be a good one. Bye, guys.
Feeling so small, watch the clock ticking off the wall, but tonight I'm letting it
All right, so I thought it would be a lot of fun to go to Aldi today. One, because I love their prices, and two, it's just honestly a little bit nostalgic for me at this point because back in like 2017, 2018, I used to go to Aldi every single day when we lived in South Dakota, but I shared Aldi hauls every single week on my channel, and that was kind of like what a big part of my channel was. So every time I go back, it just makes me really happy. Now, I'm actually not going to be doing like a full-on haul, but I am going to be showing you guys everything that I'm picking up, and you'll kind of be able to see the price and all that stuff. And then later on in the video, I am going to be food prepping everything, prepping out some produce and sharing some recipes. So you'll get a little bit of everything in this video. Now, I do not go to Aldi every single week. Actually, honestly, I do a lot of my grocery shopping just through Walmart delivery just because it saves me so much time and I don't always have the time to actually make it to the grocery store. But when I do, I love going to Winco because they are really affordable, and I also love coming to Aldi because, again, like their prices, you just cannot beat them. But I actually came here maybe like 6 months ago, and I feel like although we are still dealing with inflation, like several months ago, it was even worse. And I remember coming in and feeling like, man, the prices are just so insane. Like they're not even that much better than a regular grocery store anymore. But I was really happy to see this time that the prices did seem to be a lot lower. They are so much cheaper than a lot of other grocery stores. So absolutely a win. So I have been mostly gluten-free, dairy-free for a long time, but usually I'm not 100% strict on that. However, right now I am trying something new. I'm trying out the keto diet. Now, Kyle and I actually did this, I believe it was before I even realized that I had Hashimoto's several years ago, but we did more of like the dirty keto, I guess you would call it, where it was just honestly not a lot of healthy food. Like you were kind of just eating a lot of dairy, a lot of high fat meat and things like that, and it wasn't good quality or anything. And so while I was on that diet, I just never really felt good about what we were putting in our bodies. So this time I am doing more of a clean keto, but I'm also making it just attainable and just kind of protecting it and making it not so intense, I guess. So anyway, as I'm shopping through the store, you will see a lot of things that kind of fit into that low carb keto lifestyle, as well as things that the rest of the family can eat because they are just kind of not eating any specific way. And then another thing that I was looking at was their meat. They had such great prices on meat. So I picked up a lot of different things that I actually wasn't really planning on. I kind of had my whole meal plan figured out, and then I saw these deals and I was like, all right, we are adjusting and we're shifting, different things out for different meals. And And that's definitely one of my ways that I like to save money, especially when it comes to grocery shopping, is I might have one plan, but if I go to the store and I find a really good deal on something and I can easily shift it, I will absolutely do that. And another thing that I've been doing a lot lately is actually shopping like the coupon sales at different grocery stores, like your mainstream grocery stores. However, they typically have a lot of really good sales that are kind of intended to just get you into the store. But if you go there purely for those sales, you will be amazed at the deals that you can find. Like sometimes I'll get a pack of raspberries for $1 or the kids' cereal for $1.99 or something, and that even will beat out Walmart's prices or Aldi's prices. So if you're able to kind of shop around like that, it will save you so much money. But if not, definitely check out Aldi if you haven't already been to Aldi and you don't already know about them. They are just amazing. What they do is they actually make a lot of their own products. And so that's just one of the ways that they're able to cut costs for you. But one thing that I will say is I feel like sometimes you can be a little picky on like getting a name brand item or just getting a store brand item. But every single time that we've tried something from Aldi, it's always as good, if not better than the name brand. And I actually remember seeing like a video clip or reading an article or something where basically that was their goal. Like they wanted to make sure that any of their products, like any of their store brand items, were as good or better than their competitor in not only taste, but also ingredients. So a lot of their products I feel are really, really high quality. Another thing that I want to say about Aldi, if you haven't been here, is I remember being so grateful for Aldi when my kids were little because the store really isn't that big. Now, the reason for that is when you go to Walmart, you're going to have like 50 ketchups in the one aisle and you can pick what brand and what style and what size and all this stuff. At Aldi, you will have one, maybe two options. And so for that reason, the store itself is a lot smaller. So I could get through the store even with 3 of my kids with me in like 30 minutes or less. But with that being said, they don't always have everything. So I felt like once a month I would have to go to a regular grocery store to kind of fill up on those extra kind of more specific things that Aldi didn't have. So anyway, now that we've kind of made it through the grocery part of the store, I'm actually heading over to the fun aisle, which is where they have all of the home decor items. They actually had a lot of toys. They have some organization things. They kind of just have a lot of random things. And I think they still switch out every single week, but they really do have a lot of great deals. And a lot of times you can find items that are going viral or just really trendy or popular, and you can get them for a fraction of the cost. And every time I've gotten one, again, like the quality is just absolutely there. And once we're done shopping, I'll show you a little sneak peek into actually what's available at this time when you're watching the video, and they actually have quite a few things that I have my eye on. Now, another way that Aldi saves money is you have to pay a quarter, like you probably saw in the beginning, and that is to kind of encourage people to bring their carts back to the store so they don't have to pay someone to go corral them in the parking lot. But then whenever you return your cart, you get your quarter back. So it really doesn't cost you anything other than a walk back up to the front. And then the other thing is you actually just bag your own groceries, which again, like saves them a lot of money. They don't have to pay for a bagger and everything. And it's really not much of an inconvenience at all, especially when you consider the price savings. To me, it's absolutely worth it. And I'll say, do not forget your bags. I've done that so many times, but if you do forget your bags, they won't supply you with them, so you actually have to buy new bags. Now, they do have paper bags, which are pretty inexpensive, I think like 10 cents or something like that, or you can buy reusable ones like I have. And then this right here is that preview of what they have going on actually this week when you're watching the video. But I noticed they have some really, really pretty mugs along with some hobnail glasses, which are such a great deal. I think it's like a 4 set for $10. They come in, it looks like a green or a clear color. And I'm guessing they're gonna be amazing quality like everything else. All right, we are back from Aldi and I'm actually pretty happy with the amount of food that we got for the price. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just quickly tidy the kitchen up. It actually isn't terrible because I've been doing pretty well with my nighttime routine, but the morning kind of got away from us. I also wanna really quickly clean out the fridge, and then I'll get all the groceries put away and we can kind of start prepping out some of the produce. And then I also wanna make a couple of things for food prep. So I want to get a few things done, and the day has gotten away from me. I don't know where the time's gone, but it's like almost 3 o'clock and the kids get home at like 3:30. And hopefully I can get everything done today. If not, we'll just do another day.
'Cause you waited on, you waited on a miracle. Out of luck and now you prayed for a miracle. 'Cause you waited on, you waited on a miracle.
So a few weeks ago, I shared my nighttime cleaning routine, and that has been my one routine that has been somewhat consistent over the last several years, but I recently changed it in the new year, just kind of adjusted it a little bit, and it has made such a huge difference in our day. We are also slowly getting back into like our family nighttime pickups, which that has been a game changer. It's definitely one of those things that's just very hit or miss depending on how busy the nights are, because we have a lot of sports practices and things like that. But I always say, like, your nighttime routine or your nighttime cleaning routine, closing down the house, whatever you want to call it, that is something that will take you such a small amount of time, but give you so much more time in your day. And not only will it give you time back in your day, but it'll also make your day so much more productive. And I feel like I can just get a whole bunch more done. So it's absolutely worth that extra 20 minutes or so to, kind of shut down the house, do those few things that you need to wake up the next day and not feel like you're behind. Now, clearly you're gonna have to clean during the day like I'm doing here, but I guarantee if we had not done our family tidy at night, and if I had not done my nighttime cleaning routine, this would be a whole different situation right here. Like, I would be doing so much more than just unloading the dishwasher and, picking up a few things and wiping down the counters.
Right outside your doorstep, nothing's quite as it seems. You were standing in the street, alone with all your broken dreams. Seems to me that you don't bother. The one who tells deserves another. No one sees the wounds you're licking.
All right, you guys will have to let me know. Have you tried making the homemade Dawn Power Wash Spray? I have been using this stuff since, gosh, I don't know if it was like 2019 or 2020. It was basically almost as soon as it came out, and I have loved it ever since. It's been one of the biggest game changers in our kitchen. Definitely one of the biggest game changers in washing dishes ever since it came out. And I just have not been able to break myself of it because it just works so well. But it can get expensive, especially I feel like you can go through it fairly quickly. And so I really am, maybe even this week, going to try to make it myself. I found a few different recipes online, but some of them I've seen people say that it doesn't quite work as well as Dawn dish spray. And so I'm just kind of curious to hear how many of you have actually tried the homemade stuff and if you feel like it works just as well as the store-bought Dawn dish spray. All right, you guys, these are the new bloom towels. I'll actually pull them out in just a minute and you'll get to see them a little bit better than right here, but I'm so excited because these are the Easter ones and also the St. Patrick's Day ones. Now the Easter ones are launching today. Today is the first day you can get them, but they sent me their St. Patrick's Day ones a little bit early, and I'm so excited. Those ones are actually launching next week, but my code will work for all of these towels along with all of the other towels that they have on their website. But I have been using bloom towels since close to when they started their company, and I have just been the biggest fan. I love the style of them. I love the size of them. I love that they come double-sided. They're like a really soft, tight waffle knit, so they don't have that microfiber stickiness to them, but they are incredible incredibly absorbent. Of course, they're double-sided, and then they also even have a hook that you can like hang on a little hook in your kitchen. You can fold them over, just kind of store them however you want. But they are my favorite kitchen towel and basically the only ones I ever use now.
I've been wandering in the dark with a cynical, faithless heart. I've been watching the kings and queens caught up in careless dreams. Oh, and you turned up. Somebody turned my luck. I'll give love to the world. I stay true to my word. We'd be queens and kings of everything. I could gaze at the stars, take my rocket to Mars. We'd be queens and kings of everything. I bet my heart on you. Queens and kings of everything. You, on you. Queens and kings of everything. You, I'm the queen and you've got the crown. You've been turning me inside out. You keep me sane, I'm not breaking down when I'm with you. Oh, you turned up. Somebody turned my luck. I'll give
So like I said, these are all the towels from Boom Towels Easter lunch along with their St. Patrick's Day lunch. And I love how colorful and fun they are. And something that I have been saying for years and years and years is even if you don't decorate for the seasons or the holidays, if you can just switch out your kitchen towels, that will add such a fun pop of color. It'll just add a little festiveness to your home. And I love that it's actually not fully like a decor piece that's, you know, strictly there to look at, but it's actually a functioning piece of your home. So if you're like me and you don't really do a whole big decorating for Easter, this is definitely going to be a great option. You can just add a little touch of Easter or St. Patrick's Day or whatever in your kitchen and use them year after year. And I will say these ones are a little bit more on like the bright, more whimsical and playful side. But if you want ones that are a little bit more on the neutral side, I believe they still have their last year's Easter towels on their website. So definitely check that out as well. And I can't remember if I shared my code, but my code is just Amanda, and that will save you 15% off your entire order.
love it how you love me electric, like you do. Love it how you love me electric, always you. Love it how you love me electric, electric. I love it how you love me a lot, love me a lot, love me electric. Baby, keep the light on for me, I'm coming home. Know I got you forever wherever I go. I feel like I'm high. Oh, and I wouldn't change the way you got me jumping through hoops. All the wishes in the world.
So once I got the kitchen all clean, it was time to go ahead and just clear out my fridge. And I tried to talk myself out of it so many times because I don't know what it is, but I just despise clearing out my fridge and cleaning it. It absolutely has to get done, and so I usually will make myself do it, but it's not one of those things that just comes really naturally to me. Like I kind of have to push myself into it. But one thing that I've learned, which I know can be so obvious to some people, but to me, I always felt like I have to go all intense. Like every single item needs to come out of the fridge, but I really don't feel like that's the case. A few times a year, it absolutely is important to just pull everything out, make sure you scrub everything down, get everything fully clean. But on just like a regular weekly grocery shop, you do not have to pull everything out. You can just pull things out of a few shelves where it might look dirty, wipe everything down, and then put everything back. And it actually will make a huge difference in not only how your fridge looks, but actually how it feels. And it'll kind of inspire you, I feel, to cook a little bit better and just make sure that you're utilizing the items in your fridge a little bit more. So that's all I'm doing here is just clearing it out a little bit, making sure there's nothing that's expired that needs to get thrown out, and also just reorganizing a little as I begin to start loading in the groceries that we got from Aldi today.
Spend my time, wonder why everything went wrong. Blame myself, second guess.
As I was unloading all of our groceries, I was kind of organizing things a little bit, like things that went into the pantry, items that went into our fridge, and then also I did a separate section of items that I actually wanted to take the time to prep out, like all of our produce. So that's kind of the things that I'm putting on the back counter, and then everything on the island will just go straight into the fridge. But anyway, as I was putting away the groceries, I was just reminded about when we were moving from South Dakota to Utah several years ago. And like I had mentioned, when we lived in South Dakota, I used to shop at Aldi every single week. It was just part of my routine. And when we moved to Utah, I realized they did not have an Aldi, I think in the entire state, but definitely nowhere in the Salt Lake Valley. However, I found out that they had a Trader Joe's, and I think at that point I had never actually been to a Trader Joe's, but I had just heard about it. And at one point I also had heard that Aldi and Trader Joe's were like sister companies or something like that. Like maybe it was two brothers and they split the company into two, and one created Trader Joe's and one created Aldi. And so I just thought, oh, they are the same store, but just kind of like a different name. And so that was my plan, was that I was going to, when we moved to Utah, start shopping at Trader Joe's for all of our groceries every single week. And I remember getting so many comments back then saying, nope, you absolutely will not be shopping there every single week. It's so much more expensive. They don't have all of the regular things that you want to get every week. It's just a different kind of store. And I just kind of brush it off. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Like, I'm definitely going to shop at Trader Joe's. I love Aldi so much. And so the first time I went to Trader Joe's, it was so different. I do actually love Trader Joe's. I love shopping there, but I do not get all my groceries there. One, I would say they are more on the expensive side. They're definitely not like a crazy expensive store like Whole Foods or anything, but they are a lot more expensive than Aldi. And I also would say that Trader Joe's kind of has more interesting items, like really cool things. Honestly, if you have a Trader Joe's, take an afternoon and just go walk through. You will find so many cool things that you literally can't find at any other store, because they're all kind of the same thing. Like, they're their own name brand items, and not only do they have their own name brand items, but they also have their own specific items that no other stores have. So it's a really cool place, but it's definitely not going to be like where you get all of your groceries. So needless to say, everybody was right. I did not shop at Trader Joe's every single week. And that is actually where I found Winco back when we lived in Utah, which Winco is not the same as Aldi at all. It's just more of like a regular grocery store, but also kind of like a warehouse. Like, it's really, really big, but you don't shop in bulk, and their prices are really, really good. So also, if you have a Winco, definitely check them out. All right, I had all the intentions of getting all of my produce all prepped and making a couple things, but I'm just running out of time. I have to go pick up Liam and Noah. We'll get dinner started in just a minute. I'll get all of this put back into the fridge, and then tomorrow we'll finish things up. Just to make things easy, I have this little yogurt box. I'm gonna put all the produce that I'm planning to prep out into here. That way tomorrow I can just pull it out in the morning, right after the kids go to school, get everything prepped out, make a couple of food prep items, and then we'll be good to go.
Had my heart, then you left just so up and down. Didn't know who I was without you around. But we can't go back to where we started out.
So for dinner, I just made some everything chicken wings. This is from a cookbook that I got when I started eating keto, and honestly, I've loved it so much. Like, it's very clean. Everything is just really nice ingredients in there, and it's also not overwhelming, because you know how sometimes you get those cookbooks that have like 20 ingredients for each recipe, and it's just so unrealistic. Like, I'm not gonna pull out everything. I'm not gonna spend 50 minutes in the kitchen cooking dinner every night. Like, it's just not realistic, but this cookbook really is a good one. And so for this recipe, it actually called for chicken wings. I thought about doing drumsticks, but Kyle just really does not like chicken on the bone. He's definitely not a picky guy, but he is kind of picky on that one. So I decided to go for chicken tenderloins. And honestly, this ended up being a hit and everybody loved it. So it totally works kind of either way that you want to do it. But all you're going to do is lay out your chicken onto a baking sheet. And then I'm just seasoning a little bit with salt and pepper. And then you're going to pop it into a 400-degree oven for about 40 minutes or so, or until it's fully cooked. And then once it's done cooking, you're going to pull it out, melt 3 tablespoons of butter, and then pour that over top. It's easiest if you do this in in a bowl for sure, and then sprinkle on about 3 tablespoons of everything but the bagel seasoning. And then the original recipe didn't say to do this, but I just kind of wanted to pop it back in the oven and give it a few more minutes to kind of crisp up with that butter on it. And we just served this with a side salad, and it was absolutely delicious.
This feeling we're all so much more than we see. They can box us up in walls, but that don't change anything. There's a sun on the rise, painting all the sky blue, where the morning meets the night and every color breaks.
And then to finish off the night, I decided to pop those cookies into the oven, the ones that I had picked up from Aldi. I cannot tell you how good they are because I didn't get to try them, but everyone else was asking for seconds, so I'm sure they were a hit. Although I also would say I think my kids are not picky when it comes to cookies, so I'm sure they would say basically every cookie is delicious. Everyone's playing outside. Not our kids, but I think it's our neighbor kids. Anyway, okay, so I have all of that produce that I just set in that container from yesterday. I'm gonna go ahead and prep it all out. I actually wish we had more berries and stuff, but they're just not going on sale a ton right now. I think this was like $3 though, it wasn't awful. Some grapes I got on sale at our local grocery store just the other day, and then I have a bunch of like veggie produce, which is gonna be perfect for me to snack on. This time I'm wanting to incorporate a lot more veggies in and just make it so that you feel like you're actually eating healthier versus just eating like bacon and heavy cream and all that stuff. So I think this is gonna be perfect. A lot of the leafy greens have like negligible carbs, so it's not really a big worry on that. And this will be so nice because I am 20 times more likely to go grab some produce or something to snack on if it's already prepped out versus this. It's really not hard, but when you're in a snacky mood, I don't know what it is, having to chop something up just isn't the most ideal thing. So this way I can just get it done once and enjoy it throughout the rest of the week. So let's get started.
Smoke in the sky and fire in the air. Desire burns between them.
I have had the same cutting boards for so many years. I just usually will use the ones from IKEA, and they're just the flexible ones, but I actually had a gift card for Target and I went there and I picked up some new mixing bowls, which you'll actually see later on in this video, and then I also got that cutting board, and I don't remember exactly which cutting board this is. I'll link it down below, but I have been really loving it. I've used it several times now since filming this video, and I just feel like it's really nice quality. But anyway, all the silly little things we get excited about as homemakers. But once I got that kind of pulled out, I just went ahead and pulled out all the rest of my food prep items, like my strainer, my salad spinner, all that good stuff, just so I'm all ready and I can just kind of create a little utility line to get all this produce washed and rinsed and ready to go.
Going further on. Break up day till the sun goes down. You work the time between them. A far off land to your own hometown. You've been all around.
All right, I saw a trick. I think it must have been on a short or a reel or something, but it's a little trick to very quickly and easily de-stem your grapes, and I wanted to try it out with you guys today. So I just have these little linen cloths. I love using them in place of paper towels a lot of times. We do still use the paper towels sometimes, but these have definitely been helping us cut down on that. But all you do is literally just wash your grapes and then lay them down on the bottom towel, and then you lay another towel on top and you just roll your hands back and forth across them, and they just de-stem themselves. It's amazing. It worked super well. I know there can be so much good and bad in the internet, but sometimes with these life hacks, it really comes through for you. Now, if you've been here for a long time, you know I've been playing around with different ways to store my produce for years and years, and sometimes I'll like a different container better than another, but once again, I saw a post. They were talking about how it's so much more beneficial to store your produce in mason jars and how it actually helps it last a lot longer. And I was like, perfect. I have some wide mouth mason jars and I wanted to go ahead and give it a good try. And honestly, you guys, I have loved this. Like, not only do I feel like they are keeping really well in the fridge, it hasn't been a crazy long time or anything, but I do feel like they are keeping really well. But I also feel like it's just very space saving in the fridge. Everything's the same shape, everything is very vertical. And also, I kind of like that it breaks it up so that when I use part of my produce, like I use one mason jar of grapes, I don't still have that huge container that used to be full of grapes, but instead I just have one more mason jar and I can go ahead and wash the other one. So I will probably for a long time, if not forever, be storing a majority of my produce in mason jars from here on out because it just kind of makes sense.
After all the waiting, it feels like everything is going our way.
So here I'm just going ahead and chopping up all of my produce, like all of my veggies. Now, usually I'll add carrots in here, but since I'm doing keto, I decided not to add them into this container. However, if you remember earlier, you can see we had some baby carrots in a bag just sitting in the fridge. So if anyone else wants them, they can definitely grab them that way. But this veggie container has been such a popular item here on my channel, and we use it every single week. I love it so much because it's almost like a DIY veggie tray. You can separate out the veggies and you can set the whole thing out as a platter. Or if you're just snacking for a few minutes, you can even just grab out one of the trays inside and take it and enjoy it on your own. But we have just loved this one. Now lately I have been doing a lot of research on like the best ways to store produce. You guys know I've asked you several times, and one of the things I found was to store your herbs and your green onions in a mason jar like this, or some type of jar with a little bit of water on the bottom. And I'm trying that out and we'll kind of see how it goes. So far, I'm not so convinced just because I feel like they're not protected from any extra moisture in the fridge, but maybe I will be wrong about this one. So I'm testing it out, and probably in the comments, I'll be able to let you know how it worked.
The life we wanted, it feels like everything is going our way. I think we made it after all the waiting. It feels like everything is going our way. I'm lost in your energy. You got me feeling weightless, no gravity. I feel so hurt when you look at me. Caught up in your sweet, sweet fantasy. Oh my God, it's so electric.
All right, next up we are making some buffalo chicken salad, and I always pop up one of these recipe cards on the screen so you can go ahead and screenshot that if you'd like. And I also try to have all the recipes over on my website so you can find them there as well. But what you want to do is either cook up and shred up your own chicken, or go the easy route and get the pre-cooked, pre-shredded chicken from the store. Then you're going to chop up some celery and add that in, along with some mayonnaise and then your favorite hot sauce. So I'm just using one from Aldi, but let me tell you, this is so good. You can eat it with crackers, or if you're keto, you can eat it on top of a salad. You can honestly just eat it as it is. I feel like this could be enjoyed so many different ways. You could even make a delicious wrap out of it. My mouth is watering just looking at this. You have to try this recipe out. Next up, we are making some green sauce. So for this, you are going to need some cilantro, some minced garlic. I'm just using the kind in the jar. Also some mayonnaise and apple cider vinegar, 2 jalapenos, 1 lime. You'll need the zest and the juice. Last but not least, you'll need some avocado oil or olive oil, and salt and pepper. And again, I have that recipe card there for you for your convenience to go ahead and screenshot and print. And then I am just using a little food processor. I love this one because it comes with an immersion blender. It's like a whole kit. I will have it linked down below, but it's amazing. So what you're gonna do first is go ahead and stem and seed your jalapenos, then add in your cilantro, and then don't do what I do and go ahead and zest your lime first before you cut it. But if you do, it's okay, you can make it work. And then go ahead and juice your lime directly into the food processor. Next, you're gonna add in some garlic. I definitely over added on the garlic, but in our house, you can just not go wrong with too much garlic. You're then gonna wanna add in your apple cider vinegar, a little bit of that olive oil, some mayonnaise, which is going to make this dressing feel really creamy, and then of course salt and pepper to finish it off. Then the only thing left to do is just blend this up until your desired consistency. And I love that you can still see all of those green bits from the cilantro in here. This green sauce is so good. You can add it on tacos, you can add it on different meats, you can just straight up put it on a salad. It is so, so good. And if you do want it a little spicier, you can always include those jalapeno seeds just to kind of give it a little kick.
Seeking your attention, but simple instead. 'Cause I hope you look my way, but no, you didn't even see me. Gazes a day, feeling every day like I'm going insane. 'Cause you and I are something I wish for every day.
We got so much done today and it felt so, so good to get all of this prep done, especially with kind of beginning on a new diet again. And I honestly really hate saying the word diet, but more of a lifestyle, I guess. We'll kind of see how it goes. But so far, so good. Now next week I am going to be decluttering again, but we're going to be decluttering in my pantry, which I feel like people honestly forget about a lot, but it actually makes such a huge difference. So we are going to be completely decluttering and organizing my pantry in next week's video. But if you are wanting some more super delicious recipes, very easy, nothing really overwhelming, I'm going to link my entire homemaking playlist right here. I can say there are hundreds of delicious and easy recipes in this playlist. So definitely check that out next. And thank you so, so much for spending your time with me today. I am so thankful that you're here with me, just finding ways to enjoy life more and more day by day. You are amazing. You are so important. And I will see you right back here in my next one. Bye, guys.
Got me up, got me spinning round, doing cartwheels off the ground. See the color, hear the sound.
Okay, we just finished episode 2 of our bedroom makeover, and our bathroom is still a real life moment from that whole ordeal. But we can close the door to that mess, or at least we can in our minds, because with all the deep cleaning I have ahead of me on this day, I want all the light and good vibes that I can get. So I'm leaving the curtain open, but keep your eyes out of the bathroom and just imagine that it's sparkly clean, just like my bedroom will be shortly. So we are starting off in the bedroom. Isn't she looking so pretty? We painted the bed, added a new rug, changed up the nightstands, magically made our olive tree 2 feet taller, and we added these gorgeous DIY wood shelves, and we even painted the entire room Benjamin Moore White Dove, and I am just in love with it so far. But now that it's looking so much better, I want to get it feeling totally clean and fresh, so I'm starting by stripping the bed and washing all of the bedding, including the duvet insert and everything. Then we will work on the rest of the room before we inevitably move into the rest of the house that, you guessed it, needs to be deep cleaned as well. So let's do this.
I wanna hear you say that you're only one me. Sometimes I might be a bit selfish when you're way too humble. Might be overzealous, getting you in trouble. 'Cause I'm a little bit unsteady, even a little bit mad. Might be a disaster, or just the best you've ever had. Or just the best.
So I first have to wash our duvet and the insert and the cover and all the stuff. But later on, once it's all dry, it's actually going to be like the next day. I am going to share something that I found recently on Amazon, and it is incredible. It's something I haven't seen before, but it's basically going to be a hack for a way to keep your duvet really nice and fluffy and lay flat in your duvet insert, because sometimes the corners can kind of bunch up. So stay tuned, because I will be sharing that hack at the end of this video.
But sometimes I might be a bit selfish when you're way too humble. Might be overzealous, getting you in trouble. 'Cause I'm a little bit unsteady, even a little bit mad. Might be a disaster, or just the best you've ever had.
Of course, there's laundry waiting for me in the washing machine, so I just continued on the process of drying all the things in the washer and then tossing my duvet insert in. I wanted to get this washing right away because I just air dry it, and so I know it's going to take a majority of the day to get dry. But I actually do not use bleach whenever I wash my whites, and I have found the thing that works the best. So I have been using Molly Says whitener for so many years, and it honestly keeps my whites looking brighter than bleach does, but it's not a harsh chemical or anything, so I love this stuff. I usually get it from Grove Collaborative just because that's where they have the best deal on it, and I'll just get a few bags at a time, but I will have it linked down below. You guys have to try it out if you haven't already. This stuff is amazing.
I will go with you. Watch the ocean kiss the moon.
Next, I just moved back into the room and started clearing off all the surfaces and wiping everything down. And you guys have to let me know what you think about these nightstands. I've been kind of talking to my sisters and kind of getting some ideas, but I think that I'm going to end up painting them, and I'm thinking I'm going to paint them a darker color. So I haven't fully set my mind on it yet, but I think with the white background of the wall, it's just going to look really nice to add like a nice dark pop. But if you have any specific colors or even just a general color, let me know, because I am all ears when it comes to ideas on this bedroom. And to wipe down all of our wood furniture, I'm just using the Method wood cleaner. This stuff smells incredible if you haven't tried it out before. And oh my gosh, this sweater, I was dying when I saw it. So I knew I had to get it because we have 3 boys and bruh is thrown around in our house all the time. So I just thought it was hilarious. But once I got my catch-all dresser cleared off and wiped down, I went ahead and just filled up my diffuser. I've been kind of getting back into using my diffuser more regularly. I don't know why. I ended up falling off the wagon of that a little bit, but I'm getting back, and I just love the fresh smell of diffusers. It just freshens your home, makes everything feel so much cleaner and brighter. Now this scent kind of smells like black licorice, so I don't know if it's everyone's cup of tea, but I love it.
A place where I can go, and you'll be always mine, always mine. Love has passed like the seasons do. I can see the sun. I think I'm falling in love with you. You're always mine.
So I went ahead and just started watering all of our plants. The nice thing is I tend to overwater plants, and so the fact that these are a little bit out of reach up here, it's going to serve my plants well because they will not be getting overwatered. I can probably do this like once every 2 to 3 weeks, maybe once a month or something. We'll just kind of see what these plants are needing. But I love how these shelves turned out. I shared it in last week's video, so I'll have a link down below if you're new here, if you haven't had a chance to watch it yet. But I love how it all turned out, and it's just like kind of brought your eye up in the room, and it's added so much life into the space. I'm so obsessed with these shelves and how we styled them.
You've been with me when I laugh or cry. Anywhere I stood, you were standing by. With me when I'm fine, with me when I'm not. With me when I'm giving everything I got. With me all along, not a cameo. Every scene, every episode, in every video. Skip no scenario, there anywhere we go. You've been with me all along, all along. Always on my side, you never gone. You've been with me all along. And you've been holding on for so long.
Next, I'm just tackling our back door that leads right out to our patio. And I've shared this hack so many times with you guys. If you grab just a Swiffer, you can easily reach those tall spaces without having to grab a step stool or anything. Now, a lot of times I will use like a spray away cleaner, but honestly, this is my favorite, is just using my e-cloths, which you guys know I absolutely love. So you just get the general purpose cloth wet with water, and then you swap between that and the glass and polishing cloth. You clean it and wipe it down with the wet one, and then go ahead and dry it with the polishing cloth. And it's amazing how well it works. You only need water and you will be left with 0 streaks. It's incredible.
Stay with me all along. You're still with me and I hope you stay. We come a long way since the early days. Always had a spot in the escapades, and a suitcase for the getaways. And all along you were always down. Showed up and would hang around, singing loud, standing out in every crowd. And we're still here now. You've been with me all along, all along. Always on my side, you never gone. You've been with me all along. And you've been holding on for so long. Where others would be gone, you stayed with me all along. They're not all like you, no.
Finally, to finish off the room, I'm just using my vac mop. I actually shared a short video the other day of this because it's such a good deal, and I kind of shared some of the details of that. So I will have that short link down below if you want to check this one out. But I love, 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 love this vac mop. It's definitely become one of my favorite time savers.
You're like an ocean, full and deep. You deliver me, and you light the darkness.
So this vac mop is like half the price of so many that I've seen, but I know one of the really popular ones is the Tinaco one. Let me know in the comments if you have had the Tinaco one, if you've heard different things. I actually went thrift shopping the other day and I saw so many Tinacos in there, and I don't know if that's just because that's like a really popular one. I have heard some mixed reviews on that, so I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts have been on that one, if that's a brand that you've tried. I cannot really speak to it because I haven't tried that brand, but I can say this one, I'll have it linked down in the description box, but it works super, super well.
You're like the wind, blowing free. You deliver me, and I can wander, I can roam. No matter how far I go, I know my way home.
was just talking to Kyle the other day about how I would love to have a clothesline outside. Honestly, we live in Arizona and I just feel like it would dry things so quickly. Plus, everything just feels so nice and fresh when it's dried outside. You get like that nice air and the breeze blowing through your clothes and your sheets and whatever you're drying. And I think it would be incredible. But I'm not really sure that it would do all that well with a bunch of balls flying around because our boys are always throwing the football or kicking the soccer ball in the backyard. But I have seen those retractable clotheslines and I'm really thinking about getting one because I think it would just be really awesome to have it when you want it, but not have it in the way when you're not using it. Let me know in the comments if you have a clothesline or if you've tried out those retractable clotheslines. I would love to hear more about them just because I'm curious kind of if they actually work as well as they look like they do.
We can do what we want to do, 'cause we got all the time in the world, for better or worse, we should stay together. So let's stay young and in love, we should focus on us forever. Yeah, baby, if you are feeling like I do, we could run away across the ocean. Baby, what you say? We can leave today. Anywhere we'll go, we'll be alright. It's all about you. It's all about you. It's all about you.
Oh my gosh, our fan, I have like a love-hate with this. I love it because it brings down so much air and it just really circulates all the air in the space so well. But every time I have to clean it, it drives me nuts. It's like so hard and I'm always honestly so afraid of it just slamming to the ground and breaking everything. I mean, I think it is put in very, very sturdy, but it just worries me. So I don't do this all the time, definitely only a few times a year, but it's amazing how much dust accumulates and how much dust comes off of this thing.
Promise that we'll do. Just hold my hand and we will be okay. Yeah, it's true. 'Cause we got all the time in the world, for better or worse, we should stay together. So let's stay young and in love, we should focus on us forever. Yeah, baby, if you are feeling like I do, we could run away across the ocean. Baby, what you say? We can leave today. Anywhere we'll go, we'll be alright. It's all about you. It's all about you.
Next on my list, I needed to pop my hair up for this because I was starting to get a little bit hot. But the next thing I wanted to work on was our leather couches. We have had these ever since moving in, and honestly, I just love them so much. They are amazing because you never have to shampoo them. They really just kind of wear in over time, and so any imperfections just kind of look better and better as they age. However, everything definitely needs a little attention, so I'm just taking a leather conditioner cleaner and kind of wiping it down. And I actually just figured out for the first time today, if I use a mitt, it works so much better than a towel just because it's not kind of sliding around everywhere. But if you have leather furniture, all you do is just spray it directly onto your cloth or your mitt like I'm using, and then wipe it down, and you can literally just see the leather kind of come to life. It adds so much luster back into the material and it looks 10 times better.
I don't wanna fall in line, I don't wanna fade away. I just wanna touch the stars, I just wanna find my place. I feel the weight of the world knocking down my door. I need something to believe in, oh there's gotta be so much more. Take the road before us into the afterglow. Forget about our future, it's time that we let go. We don't got lost.
I'm going to be getting into like the deep spring cleaning in the coming weeks, but I just wanted to get a head start with all of this. I know here in Arizona, we don't have that extreme cold. We don't have snow, at least not in like the Phoenix Valley, but we have had some chilly weather. But I feel like this last week, we've kind of started to see that springtime weather come in, and it's getting me so excited for spring and just wanting to kind of get outside and do all the things, get our house looking and feeling so fresh and clean. But I'm curious if you have already already started spring cleaning, or if you haven't, what time of year, like what month do you typically start that? And I'm also curious, how do you go about your spring cleaning? Do you go room by room, or do you do more like task by task? For example, if you're doing task by task, you would go through and do every single window, and then next you would move on to all of the baseboards throughout the home. Or if you go room by room, it's like you would do the living room and you would do everything in there. So you'd clean your couch, clean your rugs, clean your windows, clean your baseboards, and then you would move on to the kitchen and kind of do the same thing in there. I have done it different ways over the years, and honestly, I don't really know that I have a preference. I think I just kind of go on how I'm feeling that year. But I'm curious if you have like an official method to your spring cleaning, and if so, what it is. Our table is always our catch-all, so we've just had kind of random stuff on here. I feel like we still eat at the table sometimes, and I definitely feel like the kids use it a lot. Like we'll use it for homework and whatever, but it still is just kind of a catch-all area. But ever since we finished our kitchen, which, can you believe it's been close to a year since we actually renovated our kitchen? So crazy how fast time goes. But ever since renovating it, we actually have enough seats in the kitchen at the island for our whole family to sit there. So I feel like that's honestly where we eat a majority of our meals now. Unless if we're having like a fancy meal, or if we have friends over or something, that's kind of when we go more to the table. And so the table has been a lot more recreationally used, I guess, for homework and projects and things like that. And so for that reason, it's not getting cleaned off and wiped off every single night, just because it's not being fully used like a dining table as often. As I was cleaning the kitchen, I wanted to stay focused, but I found some new ads that I didn't realize that we had gotten in the mail just for some local grocery stores. And with the food prices lately, this has been so awesome to really take advantage of the super good sales that they have in the flyer. So I was just taking a couple of minutes and kind of writing down the deals that I felt like we really should take advantage of. But let me know in the comments, what has been your biggest way to combat the grocery prices? They have just been getting out of control lately. And I feel like shopping around at different stores has just been the best way to kind of stretch our money the furthest.
I fall from grace. Imaginary, unattainable, lies that make you heavy. Where am I going? Where am I coming from? Living in my daydreams. Thought that I was strong. Thought I could fight this off. Living in my daydreams. Living in my daydreams.
Over in the dining room area, I just had an idea the other day, and I'm thinking about maybe adding some molding or partway up the wall, like some board and batten, and possibly painting like half the wall a darker color. I know this is so random, but as I was just sitting here, I just started thinking about it a little bit more, and this is definitely very in the beginning stages of my initial idea on this. Now, honestly, it really doesn't even matter right now. Like, I need to stay focused at the projects at hand, because this is just my mind trying to open up new doors when I need to stay focused. Like, we are in the middle of our primary bedroom makeover, and I'm also about to go up to Montana and work on 1, 2, or 3 different places up there, depending on how much time we have. So I have a lot of different projects that I'm kind of working on right now, but I'm already making a list for when I can move on to the next.
Lies that make you heavy. Where am I going? Where am I coming from? Living in my daydreams. Thought that I was strong. Thought I could fight this off. Living in my daydreams. Living in my daydreams.
Next, I did my daily sink clean. I will clean my sink pretty much every single day. Usually it's just once a day, it seems, but sometimes I'll do it twice a day. I might do it in the evening as well, but I do just like to scrub it out because whenever you clean the kitchen and you leave the sink not fully scrubbed out like this, I feel like it just doesn't feel complete. But when you give it one single minute to scrub it down and rinse it out, it just makes such a difference. It makes the whole kitchen feel so much cleaner. And if you are an OG to my channel, you know I've been doing this for years and years, but if you've noticed that your drain or your sink can kind of have like a smell, go ahead and add a couple of drops of essential oil. It really doesn't take a lot, but this will make the biggest difference in making your sink smell so good and so fresh, and you can totally customize it and use whatever scent you want. But try it out and let me know how it goes.
I know I am nobody to ya, and it feels just like you want me to go now. But I hope you slow it down, hope you slow it down, 'cause what I really need is your time. So will you like me like that? Just like that. Like me like that. Just like that. Like me like that.
Something that I get asked about all the time is this little blue light on our backsplash. And so what that is like a little sticky bug trap, bug keeper thing. I don't know exactly the correct terminology for it, but basically it just attracts bugs and mosquitoes and little fruit flies, and it does an incredible job. So you could see on the back how many little flies it's caught, and this is just something that we replace once it gets kind of full, but it has made a big difference in not having so many little fruit flies. I don't know where they come from, but they're just always around. So this thing has really helped our kitchen.
I don't even know what to get in your head. Seeking your attention, but simple instead. 'Cause I hope you look my way, but no, you didn't even see me gaze yesterday. Feeling every day like I'm going insane. 'Cause you and I are something I wish for every day. So I hope you look my way, but yeah, you didn't even see me gaze yesterday. 'Cause I know I am nobody to ya.
Here I'm just taking a few moments to actually fold all our towels. As you saw, we were almost out of like our cleaning towels, and then I had a few of my bloom towels that I needed to just fold up. I will link the short that I shared, like kind of specifically sharing how to fold it this way, but it makes such a huge difference in storing your towels. Now, I love my bloom towels. They are my favorite kitchen towel ever. They're super absorbent, really nice quality. They're oversized. I use them for just about anything, to dry my counters, to dry my dishes, to clean things. They are just an incredible towel, and I always have a link for them down below along with a code that will save you like 15% off. But I actually have something so incredibly exciting to tell you guys next week, I believe. I'm usually not a big secret keeper, but this is something that I've actually been working on for quite a while, and I have just been dying to tell you guys, so I can't wait to share with you in next week's video. If you have any guesses on what it could be, let me know in the comments.
It's your time, so will you like me like that? Will you like me like that? Just like that, just like that. Like me like that, like me like that. Just like that, just like that.
Next up, I just wanted to take a few minutes and clean off our cabinets. Now, this is going to be a very simple way to do this. It doesn't take a lot of time, as you'll see, and it's also just super easy because, again, you don't have to climb onto stools or anything. Now, I will say if you want to do like a very thorough deep clean, nothing will be just scrubbing things down with your hand. But if you want to do a quick deep clean like this, you can go ahead and actually use a clean mop head. These ones are awesome because they just attach and pop into your washer. But this will get your cabinets so nice and clean. It kind of dusts them off as well. But if you have any spots in your cabinet, you can definitely mop them off like this, and you will be amazed at how well it works. You can also do this to your walls if you want, really like any solid surface like this. I would just personally suggest making sure that your mop head is nice and clean because you definitely don't want to be spreading germs from mopping your floor previously.
We're living in the moment. We ain't got pockets full of money, but we're rich in other things. This highway is our living room. We're swimming in the mystery. We're living in the moment. sipping on sunshine. We wanna taste all this world as the offer. Unafraid, we were made to wander. We will never let it go to waste. No, we're never gonna let it fade. We wanna taste all this world as the offer. When we run out of wine, we'll be sipping on sunshine.
Once I got the cabinets all nice and mopped, which I know sounds so weird, but I swear it works, I just went through and vacuumed right at the base of the cabinets because the next thing I'm gonna do is actually clean the kick plates of the cabinets, again with the mop, and it just works so, so well. This is awesome because you really don't have to break your back. You don't have to be on your hands and knees scrubbing your kick plates. It's incredible how well this works and how minimal effort it is.
Above this city is buzzing, creatures in love getting lost in the crowd. All of these people, where are they going?
Finally, to finish off the living room and kitchen, I just went through and vacuumed real quick. This is my cordless vacuum and I love it so much because it has really good suction, of course, but also it bends in the middle so you can get under the furniture really nice and easily. And I feel like it has a really good battery life as well. So I've had this one for years and I love it so much. And then once I got the rug all vacuumed, I just went through with my vac mop in here to vacuum and mop the rest of the hard floors. And I feel like that's, again, kind of like the sink cleaning. It just makes everything feel 10 times cleaner. Like if you do all the work and then you don't do your floors, I totally get it. Like I never want to continue on. You always want to stop a little early. But when you go that extra step, it really just makes it all feel completely clean and like you've really outdone yourself.
It feels like we're on top of the world. On top of the world. Feels like we're on top of the world. Yeah. Just take a look around. Feels like we're on top of the world. On top of the world. Yeah. Show you how.
I don't know if this is like the most satisfying part or the most disgusting part or just a little bit of both, but it always makes me feel very different feelings whenever I empty out the vac mop. It's just mind-blowing to me that it gets this dirty this quickly. I guess there's just a lot of feet going around our house, but still it's so gross. Literally, as I was putting away my vac mop, I realized I did not clean the stove. I don't even know how I missed this, but I totally did. That's just one of those things. Like, you know, when you do all the dishes and then you finish and you clean your sink and you dry it all off, and then you turn around to your stove and you realized you forgot the pots and pans or something. That's totally what this felt like. But thankfully, we do have an induction stove, and so it cleans off with literally just water, which is super nice and handy. So I went ahead and just wiped it down with my e-cloth and then used my Bloom towels to dry it off and polish it without leaving any streaks. All right, this is the next day. It just got too late and I got too tired, honestly, to get all of this sorted out. But We are back in the bedroom, back where we started, and I wanted to share that little duvet hack with you guys. So if you are like us and you have the duvet insert and the duvet cover, typically you will have some ties in the corner, and although it technically kind of keeps things in place, you end up having like a bit of a knob in the corner from the little ties. Also, the ties get pulled on a lot, and so often they can end up breaking or snapping off, and then you end up having to tie it around the actual duvet insert corner itself, and it's just like a whole thing. So I found these on Amazon, and these are little iron-on buttons that you can just put into the corners of your duvet comforter. So you iron one set onto the same side of your duvet insert, and then you iron the other set onto the inside of the duvet cover, and then you literally can just snap it right in. And it does come with 2 different sets, so if you have different covers or you have different inserts, you can use it for both. But this was so incredibly easy to do, and it's just made it lay a lot flatter, and it's way more easy to kind of change it out and wash them. So I will have these linked down below. They are incredible. And after all of that deep cleaning and tons of motivation, that is a wrap for today. We got so much done. It's never like the funnest thing to do the deep cleaning, but I totally felt motivated in the hopes that this is going to motivate you and just make you feel like you can get a ton done as well. And let me tell you, once I was finished, our home just felt so clean and so good, especially after all the makeovers and house projects that we've been doing. It just feels really, really good. So I hope you're having an incredible day, and stay tuned because later this week I'm going to have a vlog for you guys. We'll be getting a ton of things done. I might be working on some furniture flipping and just random bits, so be sure you're subscribed and stay tuned for that. And if you are needing some more motivation, I am going to link one of my deep cleaning videos from my last house. It is so incredibly satisfying. You guys definitely want to check this one out, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys. So today we are going to be doing like a get it all done productive vlog style video because there is so much that I need to get done. And the first thing, I'm actually really excited. We are going to be heading out to a bunch of thrift stores because I'm getting ready to decorate for spring, and I just want to thrift some things and like maybe do some DIYs and things like that. And so the only thing about the thrift store is you kind of have to like dedicate some time to going there, unless if you just stop around randomly. But today is my thrifting day, and we're gonna head out to a bunch of different thrift stores. I'm sure there will be some that I haven't even been to yet, but I'm hoping that I can find a lot of fun stuff. I also want to decorate a lot with like stems and things like that. One of my favorite places to go for that is Hobby Lobby. Maybe Michael's if they're having some sales, we might stop there as well. But we have a lot to get done, and then I also want to get some more things done later on. We'll start with thrifting and kind of go from there. So let's head out.
I wanna hear you say that you only want me.
Okay, so today we are heading to several different thrift stores, and I don't think I've actually been to any of them. I think these are all new to me. I usually stay towards like a different area of the valley, but this area in particular had several different thrift shops really close together, so I decided to try it out, and I've got to say, I pretty much hit the jackpot. I was so stoked with all the things that I found. So the first place that I stopped was this Salvation Army store, and they had a really different vibe. And here they had, of course, just like your regular thrift store vibe, but then they also just had like some curated areas, and I thought they had some really, really nice things. Now, one thing that I feel often isn't talked about when you thrift is blankets. Now, you definitely do want to wash them, but they're just like getting clothes at the thrift store, and you can find a ton of different ones. Now, when I have spring decorating on my mind, I'm mostly thinking about throw blankets, but you can really look for any kind of blankets that you're needing. Also, I saw they had a ton of really cute baskets. Now, I do not need any more baskets right now, so I didn't pick any up, but they really have a lot of options, and that's a great thing to look for when you're at the thrift store. And then, oh my gosh, this wreath, it was so pretty. I ended up picking this one up because I just thought it was in such good shape and absolutely perfect for spring. It was only $5.99, and I think I'm gonna end up hanging this on our hallway door right before you get into the living room. Another thing I found a ton of today, and I didn't pick any up, but I thought these were adorable. They have so many different pictures, and keep in mind when you're at the thrift store, you definitely don't need to pay attention to the color or texture of things, because that's something that you can so easily change up. Just with some spray paint, you can add in some baking soda, you can even do like a stone spray paint, but there are just so many ways to change things up like that. And I don't often use pictures as a picture, but more so for if you're thinking to like display some flowers or something. Now, this is just a magazine rack, which I feel like we don't often have a lot of magazines anymore, but this would be so cute, especially if you have younger kids, to store books and just carry them from one room to the next. If I had younger kids still, I would absolutely pick this one up.
We're steady. I know, 'cause you tell me with your heart.
One of the first places that I go in a thrift store is to check out the furniture, which I know Kyle doesn't like that. I tend to do that, but you can find a lot of really nice pieces, especially if you're looking for something specific. You can end up flipping a lot of these with not even a lot of work, and you can totally transform the piece. So do not look past thrifted furniture, and you can find something really unique that way. Next up, I just went through and looked at the pictures and the frames specifically. Especially when you're looking at frames, keep in mind that you can take out whatever pictures inside, even if it looks pretty permanent. A lot of times you can adjust that, and you can also spray paint the outside of the frame. So if you want it to be gold or black or white to match whatever decor style you have going, you can totally customize those frames and you will never beat that price. Another area that I really was excited about was all of the vases. I feel like vases are my favorite thing to decorate with, or just something that I really gravitate towards. But again, I don't focus on the color or even the texture, but instead kind of focus on the size and the shape, because those other things you can definitely change up. And I was amazed. There were a lot of really nice pieces, some of which, like this one, I actually don't even have to do anything to. This was originally from Target for $30, and it says it was sold for $8, but when I got to the register, it was marked down to half, so I got it for $4. And this is one that I can style by itself. I can put some florals in there, and I don't have to do anything to it. Another thing that you can find a ton of in the thrift stores, especially right now during this time of year, is pots and planters. And since we just recently added all those plants to the DIY shelves in our bedroom, I ended up stealing some planters and pots from around the house. So I'm going to replenish them with any that I find today. Something else that I found a lot while I was thrifting today was a ton of really pretty crystal pieces, including this one. This is something so cool. You can either clean it up and leave it as is, or you can paint it, especially if you do like a textured paint, and you can make a cute little trinket dish, just something to hold your rings at night, or, you know, kind of whatever you're needing. But I just thought that was one of the cutest little things.
Call me back, where'd you go? There's not a trace of you or your clothes. I guess my friends were right, now I know. 'Cause all you left was me, and I know. What do I do? Everything I feel is coming true.
I saw they also had these, and these look just like the acrylic water bottle organizers that I have. They were only $4, and even if you get two of them, like, you're going to save a lot more than buying two acrylic organizers at the store. So even when it comes to organizing your home, don't look past the thrift store, because I found a lot of organization things and a lot of organization bins for a lot cheaper than you can find anywhere else, aside from Dollar Tree. But if you're not needing a ton of the same item, the thrift store is definitely the way to go. And then on my way out, I ended up finding more baskets because I think those other ones were just kind of placed there randomly, and they just had so many to choose from. Oh my gosh, and then this picture, I literally almost picked this up. It was so pretty and it was in such good shape. I thought this would be so beautiful to style some fresh flowers on the kitchen island or something. I might go back and get that one because I feel like especially if you take pictures of things or record anything while you're at the thrift store and you look back on it, you're like, ah, I really should have picked that up. And that was definitely one of those pieces for me. Alrighty, on to thrift store number 2. Now, this one was definitely a bit different. This I felt like they must not really get a lot of donations, but instead they must be buying things in bulk because almost everything was new and almost everything was a lot higher priced. But with that being said, you were getting still a good deal. And oh my gosh, how pretty are these pictures? If you traveled a lot, oh my gosh, I just think that is so beautiful. They also had a lot more art pieces. They had some really pretty mirrors. I didn't feel like the price was the best on those, so I passed on them, but also, I thought these record players were so cool. I do not own any records or anything, but such a cool piece. And then this white dish was so pretty. It definitely seemed a little overpriced to me, but maybe I don't really know what I'm looking at. And then I also loved some of their glassware that they had. We are not in need of any glassware. I recently changed up our glasses and got some new ones, so I didn't need any of that, but those ones definitely stood out to me a little bit.
My best friend's telling me you're insane.
Alright, next we are going to our first Goodwill of the day. I feel like that's the default thrift store because they're just all over the place. But this Goodwill was so massive, but it was also so incredibly busy. Like, it was kind of hard to film in here just because I felt like I was constantly kind of bumping into everybody. But they had so many different pieces, and look at their furniture selection. Honestly, if I was needing a project, I would have picked up some of these pieces because they were really pretty. And this chair, I think it was actually missing like the back cushion, but this clip is not doing it justice. Like, it is so incredibly oversized and such good shape. I cannot emphasize to you enough to go to your thrift store when you're needing furniture. Check that out first. Check out Facebook Marketplace and you can find a ton of cool things. And then as I kind of went throughout the store, I think I just didn't maybe take as much time as I could have or should have, but I wanted to go to several different thrift stores. And so if I didn't see something pretty quickly while I was kind of digging through, I would just kind of move on. But as you can see, this thrift store was so packed. Like, it was not only packed with people, but every single shelf, every single aisle was just jam-packed with so many different finds. And I'm sure there were a lot of really good gems in there. I probably just didn't take the time to be sure to find them all. But I will say, when you go to the thrift store, you have to be pretty picky when you go there because you're getting such good deals on things. And when you're, opening up the option of DIYing things and changing things up that way, I think it just makes so many pieces feel so much more interesting, but you can easily come home with things that you maybe like, but you don't have a place for it or you don't have a plan for it. Another area I always check out is the lamps, and I actually found a really cool lamp later on at a different thrift store. I didn't find any here, but lamps are a great thing to get, especially a lot of times you can find pairs if you need that. I haven't been very lucky in finding like standing lamps, but especially table lamps, there's always a good option. And oh my gosh, I was cracking up at this Kramer picture. If you watch Seinfeld, you know exactly who that is, but Kyle and I have watched Seinfeld forever, and I don't have a place for that in my home, but I kind of wanted to because it was pretty cool.
Feeling all alone when you come along, always make me feel at home, singing, hey oh, got me so alive. If you wanna ride, baby, come to paradise. Is your soul still looking for someone?
I also always check out the plateware and like the kitchen items. Specifically, I'm always on the lookout for some Corelle plates. Corelle is my favorite plate ever, just because I feel like they are, one, super durable, like they are very lightweight. We've had a lot of our Corelle plates since Luke was a baby, back when we lived in Georgia, and if you can find them, you can get them for such a steal at the thrift store.
Can you feel the temperature rising? If you're down, then we can explore. Reach out for me.
Alright, we are taking a quick little break from thrifting, and I'm actually sitting outside of Hobby Lobby. I was like passing it and I'm like, I'll just stop really quick, see what they have as far as stems go, and I'll probably just look around a little bit. but mostly I'm just trying to thrift things, kind of stay on budget a little bit better. So we're gonna head in there, see what they have, and then we'll continue on. But I've gotten some really fun things. I'll share a haul later on. Okay, one thing I will say is if you want to keep yourself on budget, go shopping at a thrift store first and you will kind of realize how expensive regular stores are. I feel like the prices wouldn't have bothered me as much if I had not just been in front of like $1, $2, $3 items. And then here it's like everything is $10 or $12 or, you know, more even. But I will say when it comes to florals, you kind of get what you pay for. You can absolutely go to Dollar Tree and get a lot of stuff there. But if you want florals that are going to last, that are going to look more realistic and be really high quality, going to a place like Hobby Lobby especially is going to give you the best bang for your buck because they are florals that you can use year after year, season after season. And because they are mimicking real flowers, it's just something that never really goes out of style. And thankfully at Hobby Lobby, all of their florals were 40% off, so that helped with the budget a little bit. But I feel like they were still kind of on the pricier side, and so I was just very selective of the pieces that I did choose. Now, I ended up not stopping into Michael's on this day, but I kind of want to stop there. Let me know in the comments if you guys like Michael's or Hobby Lobby or Amazon. Just let me know, where do you get your florals and where do you feel like is the best bang for your buck? Aside from Dollar Tree, I know obviously Dollar Tree, you just can't beat $1.25, but for non-Dollar Tree florals, where do you think is best? So also at Hobby Lobby, I saw they had a lot of clearance items, including some of these faux plants, and they were marked down to like a third of what they normally were. They also had their whole spring line out. Now, the way that I like to decorate for spring and things like that is a little bit less obvious and in your face. I like it to feel bright and feel springy and feel, you know, whatever. I don't know if springy is a word, but I just kind of like the vibe to feel like spring instead of having pictures on my wall that say spring or, you know, even bunnies. Like I don't really decorate for Easter. I just decorate for the whole season of spring. So I feel like for me, a lot of brighter colors, a lot of pastels, and a lot of florals, wicker items, greenery, those natural looking things, those are kind of what I gravitate towards. And I'm also kicking myself. I wanted to pick up that round woven bowl right there, and I completely forgot. I didn't immediately put it in my cart because even though it's something that I could use all year round, it was still part of the spring collection, meaning it was 40% off, and I think it would have been like around $10 or $9, something like that. And I think that would have been a steal and just something that I could use all over the house. And then they also had a ton of really, really pretty spring paintings and pictures. And I was kind of going between a few of them, but I wasn't really sure of the sizing. So I ended up taking a picture and we'll see if I come back for them. But that's another tip. If you're at the thrift store, you kind of have to jump on things. But if you're at a regular store like Hobby Lobby or Target, take a picture of it, go home, see if you even think about it again. And if you do, you can look back at the picture and see if you really actually love it or if it was just an in the moment thing. My next stop was Marshall's before we got back over to the thrift stores, and they had a lot of really pretty things. But I will say when you go to Marshall's and Home Goods, TJ Maxx, all of that, they definitely kind of gravitate towards Easter, I've noticed. They do have a lot of florals like in vases, which is awesome, but I actually love creating my own vases because then you can change out the florals and kind of customize them throughout the year. Whereas if you do buy something perfect for spring, you have to store away the whole vase, the whole greenery, like all the stuff. So that's kind of why I began to kind of shy away from those items, but they are definitely super pretty. And then as I kind of walked through Marshall's, I saw a ton of really pretty pots, but really I felt like a majority of things was geared towards Easter, which I don't know about you guys, I just feel like I really only decorate for the seasons aside from Christmas. Like I do decorate for Christmas itself, but the rest of the holidays I mostly just kind of decorate for the season around them, just because I feel like it can feel a little much sometimes. And I feel like sometimes we're just too busy to decorate for every single holiday. Then they also had a ton of pretty vases and decor pieces and candlesticks. And again, like these I think are really good prices for a regular store. However, since I had just been shopping at a bunch of thrift stores, I was kind of in that money mindset, and all of the prices here just seemed like, oh my gosh, $12 for this. I could have got this for $2 at the thrift store. So I think that actually helped me not add anything to my cart in here. Now, I will say the picture frames are something that I will get from TJ Maxx. I think they're a little bit more expensive than, of course, a thrift store, but honestly, a lot of them are really pretty close in price, especially depending on what thrift store you go to and what size frames you're getting. But they just have a lot of really pretty ones that look very unique. And then you'll be happy to know I did not pick up any new notebooks, but I am a notebook girly and I just have a bit of a weak spot for notebooks, especially when they're really pretty. So I always have to peek, but I have been doing better, especially since doing all of my decluttering, and I haven't been buying any new notebooks until all the rest of mine are used up. Another thing that I love to check out at TJ Maxx and Marshalls and Home Goods is their pillows, but I will say that I usually just go looking at the pillows for inspiration, and then I look on Amazon for pillow covers that are inspired by the ones that I'm seeing here that I'm really liking. And again, the reason for that is because then I don't have to store away a ton of pillows on the off season, but instead I can just fold up the pillow covers and store them until next year. And another great find at TJ Maxx and Marshalls and all these stores is throw blankets. They had some really cute ones. Oh, and I almost bought this one right here, this checkerboard one. I just thought this was really pretty, and I know this is like a very trendy style right now, but I feel like it's also going to be fairly timeless, and I don't know if I should have got it or not. I mean, I think we don't need it, so I'm glad I didn't, I guess, but it is so pretty. And then do not forget to check out their kitchen section. They have such amazing deals. Like this set of mixing bowls looks just like the one that they always have at Costco, but they're in a lot more bold colors. And this was only $7 and it had those really pretty neutral colors. And I really was tempted to get this salad spinner because it just spun so easily. It was really good size. And then they had these expandable over the sink colanders for only $4.99. So if you're in need of kitchen items and you can't find what you need at the thrift store, head over to TJ Maxx and they are like the next best place to shop. This is also one of my favorite places to find really unique pottery pieces and vases and planters and pots because I feel like there's not a ton of duplicates and they have ones that just look a lot more high-end. And I think for the price, especially buying new, they are really well priced. But again, because I had just come from the thrift store, I was like, I didn't want to pay $25 when I think I could find something similar and DIY it myself for like $4. Alright, finally we're on our way to our final thrift store for the day. There were more I wanted to stop at, but you know it just takes a bit of time thrifting, so I ended up calling it a day after this. But I saw the cutest chairs. Like if I was in need of some chairs, they had so many cute ones that would be great to either sand and stain or paint. And they also had some really, really cool lamps and lampshades. I've really been wanting to find a lamp to add into our living room just to add a little bit more of that ambient light in there. And I found one that I'm going to be able to DIY, and it had a half price tag on it, so I got the lamp and the lampshade for like $3 or $4 total. And lamps are expensive at the regular store now. I feel like they're at least $50, sometimes even more. So getting something for under $5 is insane. Also, this dresser was in such good shape. I kind of wanted to pick it up, but I just can't take on another project at the moment. And then this little table is so cute. I'm getting ready to go up to Montana and help my mom with some apartments and kind of help her transform them. And if I was in Montana and I saw this table, this would fit the space so perfectly. I would have to DIY it, but it would be cute. Also, I thought if I had a little girl, these little teacups would be so cute. I know they're real, like you're supposed to use them for real, but I could imagine just having little tea parties with these, or if you do use teacups, they were just so adorable. I loved them. And this Goodwill was one of my favorites as well. Like they just had so much variety, but it wasn't as packed as that first Goodwill that we went to. Remember where like every single shelf was just jam-packed and it was kind of hard to see everything? This one I felt like you could really see all the pieces and just be able to appreciate them individually. But they had a ton of really great finds, and they had so many crystal pieces. Like this bowl I thought would be so pretty if you just added a little gold ribbon buff to the top rim. You could hold fruit in here, you could do some vase filler. Like The possibilities are endless. And then another thing that you can always find at the thrift store is candlesticks. You almost never have to buy them brand new because you can always find different shapes, different sizes. And again, that's something that's super easy to customize just with a little spray paint. Now this is something so random, but I ended up picking it up because it was $1, and I will be doing a little project in my spring clean and decorate with me, which is coming this next week. So I will be using this binder for that. Okay, these are really cool. I know they look all messy and everything, but they were 99 cents and I have such a cool idea planned for these. I'm really excited to use them in my spring clean and decorate video. I think they're gonna look really, really cool. And also I will be sharing a full haul of all the things that I ended up picking up from the thrift store a little bit later on in the video, as well as DIYing some of the pieces so that you can see my vision come to life and see like what they started as and what they ended up as. Next, I just continued on moseying through. It was really fun to go on this day and not have the kids with me and just be able to kind of take my time. But they had a ton of glassware. And again, as you're looking at glassware, you can think about keeping it simple and plain, or you can think about painting it, adding some baking soda for texture, spray painting, whatever. And you can just really change the feel of a piece. And I was surprised that I ended up finding several things from Target and they weren't even that old, I don't think. And it just made me think like, man, I need to be more selective when you're at Target and not swoon over all the pretty things, because eventually they'll end up in the thrift store and you can get them for a lot cheaper. Alrighty, it is like 2 days later. I'm finally getting around to actually sharing the thrift haul with you, and then I'm actually going to start DIYing some of the pieces because I'm planning to decorate for spring tomorrow. I wanted to share what I spent today. So the first thrift store I spent $34. The next thrift store I spent 14 bucks. And then the third, I spent $21. And then I think at Hobby Lobby, I spent like 40. So Hobby Lobby was the most, but I did get like a good bit of stuff. I did pick up this wreath. How pretty is that? There's just like all different kind of dried flowers. They're not real or anything, but they could kind of pass for real. There's like lavender, lots of different colors. I love that it's kind of like in those muted tones, and this was like $5.99. Then next I got this really pretty glass vase. This one was actually from Target, normally 30 bucks, and I got it for $4. It's seriously such good size. I don't even think I need to do anything with this. Like, it's just such a pretty piece on its own, but you could style flowers in here, or you could just add it to a shelf and add some height that way. But I love this one. I also got this little pot. It's kind of like a muted pink tone, and this one was like $2. Next I grabbed this big piece. Now this one I am definitely going to flip. It will be amazing to see the transformation in this because right now it's like a very funky piece, but it's gonna end up looking super classy and just very, very pretty. So we'll DIY this in just a few. Next I got this little trinket tray. I realized I think this is for cigarettes, so it's probably an ashtray, but whatever. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think I should keep it like that to put like rings and things like that overnight, or do you think I should paint it and make it look almost more like clay? All right, and then this is kind of a weird one. It says chestnut roaster on it, but it's made from clay. Now it does have the wording and that design on it, so I do think I'm gonna DIY this, but this will just be one of those really unique pieces that you don't always see everywhere, but I think it just has such cool lines. And then I randomly stopped by the clothing section of that thrift store and picked up some shirts. So I got a striped one, a plaid one like this, just this really pretty kind of like oatmeal color one, and it has some different stitching in it. For Noah, I ended up getting some swim shorts, so I got such a good steal on all this stuff. All right, so the next thrift store that I got stuff at, I did get this piece. This was $7.50, but it's just like a glass, like a hurricane style glass, but it has that leather wrapping around it and it has the stitching. I thought this was so pretty, and whenever I go to the thrift store, I like to get pieces that can style all year round. This is definitely one of those pieces. Now, I also picked up a tie, so nothing fancy here, but Kyle always matches my dresses on Sundays. I have a green dress and he does not have a green tie, so I picked him up a tie so now he can match me on Sunday. And then randomly, I also just got another shirt, and this one was $1.99, so super good deal. All right, let's stop at Hobby Lobby real quick. So this plant is fake, but I actually had one just like this in my office. It's normally $19.99, but they had this on sale for $10. So you can easily put this into a pot. This is like too small of a pot for this plant. Since it is a faux plant, you can actually put it on a high shelf. You can kind of put it wherever and just not worry about it. And then for the bulk of what I got at Hobby Lobby was florals and stems and greenery. So I did get these ones. I thought these flowers were so pretty. Then I also picked up these greenery pieces. Then to go in a smaller planter, I got these two. These you can kind of mix in together with whatever I like to kind of mix multiples together, and you can get just like a really full looking bunch. Then the last thing, I think this is where we spent $21, which seems crazy to me because this is like my biggest part of my haul. First off, I got these little easels. There is something on Amazon that I really am wanting, but it's a lot more expensive. When I saw these, I was like, this is basically gonna create the same concept. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and DIY these today. All right, I also got, this is so random too, I got a big binder. I love to get different prints for every season. So I'll get some Christmas digital downloads from Etsy. I'll go to Walgreens, print those off. For spring, I do the same thing. For summer, like all the stuff, because you can get digital downloads for so inexpensive, and then you can print them off like an 8x10 for $4 at Walgreens. But here I'm going to get some clear envelope things, and then I can just flip through and see like which one do I want. But I thought this was a good deal, $1, and it's really nice and sturdy. Next, I got this. How pretty is this? It's a little bit tarnished, so I might end up either trying to clean it up or probably spray paint it. So you could really kind of style this anywhere you want in a shelving unit. This was only $1. I just thought this was so cool. This vase is so pretty. I just love the shape of it. My third Target find, $30, and I got it for $4.50. Now, I don't know that I love the color of this one, so I might end up spray painting this one to look like stone or something. Candlesticks are another great thing to find at the thrift store. You can find all different kinds, but I actually don't have any really chunky ones, and I thought this would be really pretty to add into the built-ins in our living room. $2.50 and $3.50 for the different sizes. I definitely will go ahead and paint these differently and change them up because they're pretty scratched up, and I'm not sure that I love the color. I also picked up another planter, again, to replace the ones that I stole for those shelves. I've been wanting to add in some ambient light into the living room, but lamps are so expensive. This one, I just love the shape of this. I thought this was really pretty, and they were having like orange tag day. So I got this lamp for $2.25. I got this big old lampshade, and it was only $1.49, so under $4. I got a brand new lamp. This is how the lamp looks. Seriously, $4, under $4, like $3.75. That's insane. I love this. So anyway, that's everything that I picked up from the thrift store and Hobby Lobby. I feel like I lucked out so hard. We will transform some of these pieces, and I'll show you just how much potential things at the thrift store actually have. Let's go ahead and jump into the thrifted DIY flips. Now I am going to be doing a few other home decor thrifted flips in my spring clean and decorate video, which will be up this next week, but I wanted to get a little head start on a few things. So you can see the 4 items that I picked to start out with. The first ones are these little easels. These I'm going to be spray painting so that I can set up a picture frame on them and just give it a little something extra. Next, I have this binder. Now this I'm actually going to be storing a lot of my digital download Etsy prints in it. I'm just going to go ahead and spray paint it gold so that it's a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. Then I have this little chestnut roaster thing. I don't ever see myself roasting chestnuts, so I'm going to be giving it a little bit of textured paint to try to cover up that chestnut roaster wording. And then, oh my gosh, this green vase. It really can only go up from here. I am going to be adding some texture onto this to make it look like pottery, but first I'm actually going to take it outside and give it a coat of spray paint. So the reason that I'm going to be doing a coat of spray paint on this first is for actually 2 reasons. One, it's going to kind of act as a primer because the spray paint that I use actually has primer in it as well. And so it's going to help that textured paint later on stick a little bit better. And then also I'm not going to have to spend as much time painting and making sure I get everything fully covered because I won't have to be covering up the green with that. Instead, I'll just have like a nice off-white base, and spray paint is incredible because it just does not not take any time at all. It's very, very quick to do. And if you are going to be painting a full piece like this, I definitely recommend giving it a base coat of spray paint, especially if you have some laying around. It's just one of those quick little shortcuts. Then to that little binder, I am just spray painting the entire thing with the gold spray paint. This is actually the same gold spray paint that we used in our bedroom. It is the prettiest color, but I'll have the exact spray paint that I use linked down below. But first I'm just spray painting the inside, and then once that dries, I'll give the outside a nice coat. And then next I'm going through and just spray painting those easels. And just by giving it a coat of spray paint, it's just going to completely change the whole vibe and the whole look. Alrighty, moving into the fun part, we are just going to start on this vase that is actually turning out so pretty already. So you can see I just have like that kind of off-white coat on it at first. And here I'm just mixing up some acrylic paint. You can really use whatever kind of paint you have. If you have leftover wall paint, if you have chalk paint, if you have acrylic paint, whatever. And then you're just going to want to add in your baking soda. And the more baking soda you add, the more textured it'll be. But you don't want it to be too dry, so just kind of play around with the ratio. But I'm just using kind of like a cream color mixed with like a chestnut brown color. And then there's different ways that you can paint on this like baking soda style paint. But what I'm doing to give this some good texture and a lot of good coverage is actually just stippling it on the entire piece. And you'll see in just a minute, but it ends up looking kind of like pottery, and it's so pretty. You can just see how it immediately transforms the piece. And then once this first coat dries, I'm actually just going to go back in with a little bit different color. I'm just going to add to this existing paint color with a little bit darker paint and just kind of go a little bit splotchy all around the whole piece, and that will give a little bit more dimension and just kind of add to that elevated look of this. But when Kyle walked in a little bit later, he was like, oh my gosh, is that the green vase? Like, he could not believe how different it looked. And it's really just incredible that I was able to get this piece for $4 and DIY it into something that looks like I probably spent $30 to $50 on it. I just absolutely love thrifting for that reason. Now for that little chestnut roaster piece, I am doing the same exact thing, just with a little bit different colored paints, but I'm actually trying to add as much baking soda as the paint can kind of handle, because I really want this to be a little bit chunky, just because I am trying to cover up that wording and the decoration on the top piece. I actually played around with the idea of using like some spackle and stuff like that to really give it a different look, but I wanted to try this first and see if I could get this to work. And if not, I can always go back in later and adjust it. But spoiler alert, this totally ended up working. I just had to put down about 3 coats of this on the top and just put the paint pretty liberally over that wording area, but it totally covered it up and it looks so cool. So I saw something kind of similar to this on Amazon, and it's like $50 or $60. You could do black or white or gold or kind of whatever you're wanting. And I really, really wanted it, but I just couldn't justify spending that much money on it. But when I saw these at the thrift store, I knew this was going to work perfectly. And I know that I got these from the thrift store, but I'm sure you can find similar ones at Walmart or Michael's, things like that, for pretty inexpensive. Here I'm just doing what I was saying earlier. I'm just kind of going back over with a different color once the first coat dried on that vase, and it's just cool because it kind of adds to the texture. It gives a lot more dimension, and I absolutely love how this piece turned out. I knew immediately when I saw it at the thrift store it was going to be a good one, and this DIY did not disappoint. So this should really go to show you, when you go to the thrift store, look past the color, look past the texture of things, because that can be changed so easily, and you can score an amazing piece for your home for a tiny budget and really not even a lot of work. So anyway, I was actually hoping to get a lot more done in today's video, but this just ended up taking a lot more time than I originally had thought. But I am so excited to share the rest of the thrift flips in next week's video, and also be sharing how I'm going to be styling all these pieces. So make sure that you're subscribed with your notification bell on so that you don't miss out on that. And if you are needing a little bit more motivation or a little bit more company today, I'm going to link one of my recent home refreshes right here. This was where I kind of refreshed our guest room, and I did a furniture flip in here. Now I still need to go back and change up kind of how I finished off that dresser, but if you haven't already seen this one, I think you're gonna like it. So I'll have this linked right here, and I will see you in the next one.